Obviously, Independence Day means subdued, even no trade at all. But events of the last week, what did they tell you in terms of how investors are responding to the legal framework in the country?
To say the evidence that is coming out is definitely foreign investors are a bit jittery over the policies that have been announced locally on indigenization, especially on the mining sector. We've seen prices coming up quite significantly in the mining sector. The mining sector has been given up to the 6th of May to comply with the new requirements, and investors, I think, are waiting to see what will happen when that date occurs.
Let's talk about inflation, because obviously we're seeing a lot of April inflation figures starting to come through. Interestingly, in Zimbabwe, March inflation declined to 2.7% from 3%. Explain that, because everybody else is bucking under the pressures of rising food and fuel prices.
Yeah, the Zimbabwean case is quite an anomaly, but you notice that this is purely a mathematical issue. Last year, the Zim inflation was a bit high, and on an annual basis, what it means is just that on a year-on-year basis, the prices are a bit less compared to last year, or the rate of increase is a little bit less compared to last year. But if you look at the monthly inflation, it will tell you another picture that actually inflation is rising. If you compare the monthly inflation for March, it was 0.8%. In February, it was 0.5%, and in January, it was 0.9%. A trend which really shows that there is positive movement in prices. Only that if you compare it on an annual basis, it appears to be declining, but on a month-on-month basis, actually going up.
I'm curious to find out, obviously Zimbabwe's a dollarized economy anymore, and there's been some volatility in the dollar, and now things are being complicated by the fact that with the whole fiscal management issue not resolved by Congress, there's a view that some credit rating agencies are going to downgrade the U.S. economy. That's likely to have a bearing on the dollar and dollar-denominated assets. Will Zimbabwe be affected?
The impact, I would think, will be minimal, but if it does affect the USD South African Rand exchange rate, then would directly be affected, because our imports at the moment, the bulk of it is coming from South Africa. So any downgrade in the US dollar currency vis-a-vis the South African Rand will have serious price implications on this side, because the imports are in Rand, and obviously if the USD is downgraded, what it means is that the price will be higher in USD dollar terms. So as far as that is concerned, we see that the impact will actually be on the rate between the USD and the Rand. That will be the greatest impact on us.
What else is driving the Zimbabwean economy? We know mining, agriculture and retail seem to be the nucleus of the economic recovery, but we're hearing that a lot of exciting things are happening on the mobile phone front, with subscriber numbers rising to 9 million in a country where the population is 12 million.
Yes, definitely. The information and communications technology sector has been quite expanding since 2008. You find that actually when other sectors were going down in 2008, it was the only sector that recorded positive growth. The reason being, I think everyone is aware that technology is the in thing these days, and it has been grasped quite positively by Zimbabweans. And as a result, you find that the 3 mobile operators in the country have invested quite heavily in their infrastructure, and as a result, their subscribers have been going up. But the other factor to those numbers is you notice that there is multiple ownership of lines. So it does not really mean that there's 9 million people who are holding the lines. Some of the lines are multiple owned, and as a result, the numbers may not really translate to the true penetration rate.
Anymore, we've got 30 seconds. The fact that wages are subdued in Zimbabwe and unemployment is still sticky, how come that hasn't had any bearing on people's ability to take on mobile phone subscriptions?
As I've just said, that most of those lines are actually a result of multiple ownership. So you find that those that have money have got more than one line, and as a result, they make up for those that don't have money. And they also find that technological products, they are zero rated in terms of jute, and as a result, cell phones have been cheaper. So accessibility has been quite high despite the low incomes in the country.